Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Let's begin with today's class. In today's class, I'm going to teach you some more basic features of our constitution, right? So, in our last class, we studied about the basic features which were there in the constitution or the See, over here we learned about the salient features or the most important basic features of the Constitution. We have already studied about the Constitution's basic features, three Constitution's basic features, not three, four. Written document, size of the Constitution, single citizenship, the center with strong federal structure, and in that we had this three lists which were made by the Constitution for the different departments in our country and for the smooth functioning of the nation. So there were three lists which in that there was the first one was the union list, second was the state list, and the third one was the concurrent list. So we studied about this. Along with that, we studied about the residuary powers, in which there were some basic important topics or basic things which were of which the powers were in both the hands. Like for example, the export import system and the income tax system, this all things are been decided by both the people of our government, both the governments, that is the union government and the state government, right? Now today we are going to start with the unified arrangement during crisis. What a country does, or what our nation, the Indian constitution says what will happen during the crisis means emergencies. Let's see, unified means to merge, right? So we merge the governments during the crisis or during any emergencies. Let's see what's there. There are three provisions for emergencies in the Constitution of India. So there are three rules which are made by the Constitution for running the government for running a country, for running a nation during the time of crisis. So the first thing is national emergency can be declared at the time of war, external attack, or armed rebellions, which means that if there is any external attack from other countries, or if there is any emergency or any war happening in the nation, we declare it as national emergency. Then the second one is, due to law and order breakdown, the state cannot function according to the constitution. So constitutional emergency is declared. Or if there is any breaking of law, or if there is the if the law has been broken of the constitution, the state will not function and there won't be any rules of the constitution, and that will be called as the constitutional emergency must be declared. Then the third one is, due to increase in prices there is monetary value erosion, at that financial emergency is declared. And if there is an extreme increase in the prices, and at that time there would so because of that there would be a financial emergency declared. Then the central government has been given more powers to deal with this emergency, and during this emergency, like whether it is national emergency, constitutional emergency, or financial emergency, the central government has more powers than any other state or any other government, right? At that time of emergency, India is almost turned into an unitary system. What does this tell us? That during the time of emergency, or during the time of any war, or during the time of financial emergency, the nation will be almost unitary system, which means only the central government's decisions will be taken into consideration. No other state government has the right to take any decisions. Now our next topic is the parliamentary system. So we have in India, we have a parliamentary system. What is this parliamentary system? So let's begin. India has a parliamentary system of governance. In a parliamentary system, the parliament is a supreme authority representing people. So the parliament has the most important peoples in their uh, system. The legislator at the union is the parliament. So the legislature means the, as I explained you, that there are three powers with the central government and the state government. The three powers are the legislature, which is lawmaking, then there is executive, who the person who passes the laws, and the last one is the judiciary, which makes law, right? So the legislator at the union is the parliament. So the parliament is the legislator. Parliaments make law. The parliament is the parliament is biclamer, means it has two houses, which means the parliament has two houses, the upper house and the lower house. So the upper house is called as Rajya Sabha and the lower house is called as the Lok Sabha. There are two houses again in the parliament. The organization who makes law is the parliament, right? Legislature is the parliament, and in that parliament there are again two divisions, that is the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Through the government, though the government is carried on the name of the president at the union and the governor in the states, actual administration is carried by the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister at the Union and the Chief Minister in the state. See, now listen carefully. What this line meant was that the government, which means the systems or the things which are being carried out, the government is the president, right? So the things which are to be carried out is by the name of president. So the president is the head at the union and the governor in the state. So in both the cases, in the union as well as in the state, the president is the highest authority. Actual administration is carried out by the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister, but actually the things which are handled is by the Prime Minister. So no doubt that president is the head, but the management is done by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers at the union and the chief ministers in the state. So in the union, that is in the central government, the Council of Ministers and the by the council at the central government, the decisions are taken by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, and at the state level the decisions are taken by the chief minister. So although the president is the head and he is the governor, but the decisions or the administration is been managed by these people, like the Prime Minister and the Council of Minister at the union level, that is at the central level, and at the state level the chief minister has more powers. So the Council of Ministers is responsible to legislature that comprises representatives of people. So the Council of Ministers is responsible to make legislature that comprises representatives of people. So there are many people who has the powers to legislature, which means that they have the power to make a law. So the president selects 12 people. Over here, to make this Council of Ministers, they make laws, and these people are being elected by the president. There are 12 people who are experts and experienced from various fields of Rajya Sabha. They select such 12 people who are very expertise and they are experienced in different fields from Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house in which 1/3 members retire. So see, one more important thing over here is the members of Lok Sabha change after some period of time, but in the Rajya Sabha that is called as permanent house, only some, that is 1/3 people retired. So there are no changes during the there are no changes in Rajya Sabha. Only one third people get changed. So this one third people retire every 2 years at the same number of members from election. So same number of people retire after every 2 years. So thus each member has 6 years of tenure in Rajya Sabha. So a people can be a member of Rajya Sabha for 6 years, that is Council of States. The powers of the Rajya Sabha are less compared to the Lok Sabha. So the powers of Rajya Sabha are less as compared to the Lok Sabha, which is special, superior and decisive, right? So Rajya Sabha cannot be completely dissolved. So Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. That means that cannot be not all the people together can be retired, or they can elect some new members. Some of the members are there and they retire after every 2 years, right? So I hope you all must have understood about the two topics which we did today. The first one was the unified arrangement during crisis, which means what happens during crisis, the our state, that is our federal system, gets united, which means more powers are given in the hands of central government, and then the parliamentary system, right? So I hope you all must have understood about these two topics. We'll continue the chapter in the next class. Thank you.